The introduction of the ethereals to Tau society led to a rigid caste system with each caste named by an element close to them. Thus, the warriors became known as the fire caste due to their fiery temper. The artisans and scientists became the earth caste, being the most pragmatic. The diplomats and administrators became the water caste, as water flows through all life, uniting it. Lastly, the messengers and spies became the air caste, traversing the land on top of gusts of wind. With the invention of aircraft and later spacecraft, the air caste would become the pilots of the Tau. Under ethereal leadership, the Tau soon gained spacefaring technology and started colonizing nearby worlds. The first stage of the expansion covered the core worlds of the Tau Empire. Each colony, called the Sept, developed its own cultural identity and traditions. The second phase of Tau expansion led to contact with the imperial frontier worlds. Relations were at first peaceful, with water caste negotiators exchanging goods and technology with the humans. This soon drew the Inquisition's attention. A fleet was deployed to assert imperial authority. A major conflict known as the Damocles Crusade ensued, with the Imperium deploying 19 Imperial Guard regiments and almost a dozen Space Marine chapters to push back the Tau and stop their expansion. Hey everybody, and welcome to our Tau Empire card preview video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to EG for letting me do this. And hope we like the intro. Had to get a little creative, a little bit more interesting than my average video, just for you new folks and for old folks. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for tuning in. I am super excited to get into these cards today, as I'm sure you all are. And I'm recording a little early just because I've got some plans going on, so I've gotten to see some of the previews so far, and hopefully going over some of these new cards will give us all a little bit of insight into how the Tau will compete with the Imperium as they expand their new empire. So here we go. All right, and thank you to our awesome creator who worked on this music, and I'll make sure I've got their information below there. Definitely getting me hyped up just hearing the music here. So we had to kick it off with the drones. As of my video, there have been at least, I think, 2 or 3 drone types shown, and here we've got the stealth drone, and I believe, and I won't say too much to spoil it, but by the time maybe my video comes out, you'll see there are multiple kinds of drones we have not seen yet as of my recording on Wednesday this week. But it'll be dropping Saturday, so who knows, you might have seen them all. But this one, with the stealth drone coming in, same or similar stat line, flying, it's got 2 health instead of 3, but when it comes into play, it's going to give 1 adjacent troop stealth, right? So this is not going to work for your warlord, of course, and I think that was probably a wise choice, but it is going to give another troop, and particularly, I think it's relevant for the other drones, right? Because having a drone that allows for your other drones to make it through the next turn, because most of them so far that I've seen have at the start of your turn triggers, it seems like stealth drone will be nice to be a part of that strategy, actually. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all pans out. It seems like it might be a nice, rare staple for the drone decks. I don't know that this is going to be a staple for all Tau decks, but I'm interested to see how the whole drone strategy pans out. And now we've got Savior Protocols, which is a stratagem for 3 energy that makes all of your drones for the rest of the battle cost 1 less. With most drones that I've seen coming in at an energy cost of 2, dropping them down to 1 means that you can have some pretty nuts turns, I imagine, with deploying quite an army of drones with various effects, but adding up into something that I imagine would be fairly powerful. 3 energy for an effect like this, although it only affects drones, right, which is a specific card type, still seems like it's going to be a pretty powerful effect. And I'm interested to see if this is more of a control strategy, if this can be in mid-range or aggressive strategies. So I imagine Savior Protocols will be an epic card that Tau Empire players are going to want, especially when they're going for a heavy drone strategy. So excited to get into that and see how that all pans out. we've got one more drone relevant card here, Invalued Sacrifice. So this is a stratagem that says deploy 3 random drones and give them Vanguard. Now, there are several drone types, so this will be interesting to see kind of how the RNG pans out, which drones you're hoping to hit and which ones you maybe are looking for, which ones may be a little bit weaker. 5 energy is a relatively steep cost for something like this, but I do think if we were to compare this to the Grot card that is 3 energy where you're getting just the Grots, we do know that a lot of these drones could be, quite strong if they're able to stay on the board. So giving them Vanguard again allows for a deck to hit the late game, without too much of an issue. And I do think that that's something that certain decks will probably want. It's hard to give a rating to any of these cards really in preview season, but I do think that this is one worth evaluating, especially once we see how it plays out. And I think we will have to see it play out to really assess whether this is worth it or not, even for the control strategies. So you know me, save the best for last. And here we're going to be talking about the legendary unit, the Dark Strider. And that's why I had the image as the last one, just a little bit of a teaser here. And this is the art straight from that post. So Dark Strider, what does he do? 3 energy, 3 health, 3 attack, 3 range. So just like the Stern Guard Sergeant in terms of stats, but it's got stealth. And it gives stealth to adjacent drones. And it's got a talent. So a lot to look at here, right? So Rally gives stealth to adjacent drones. Dark Strider is going to be your best friend when you've got 1-cost drones from that earlier epic card we talked about, or from drones that you've been able to set up and maybe protect or give stealth to. So Dark Strider is going to give another round of stealth, but also it's adjacent drones. So you can stick them right in the middle of those 2 drones and make sure that all 3 units get stealth. So I'm really excited to see how this guy pans out. So why don't we take a look at his talent here and see if it's worth, because he does have stealth, so it is going to be hard to make sure that he dies. Yes, stealth units are susceptible to incidental damage or like random damage that comes out, but if he lives, we're going to get Structured Analyzer. 2 energy for an ephemeral card that gives Mark Light 2 to an enemy. I think a lot of people have already previewed this, so I won't beat a dead horse on this, but Mark Light 2 means that you can mark a warlord or a troop, right? Vehicle, it doesn't matter what kind of troop it is, and it will take an additional 2 damage on ranged attack. So baseline, what are we getting? We're getting a 3/3/3 solid stat line, stealth that gives other things stealth that are drones, and that following turn, right, on a 4 energy turn, potentially, if you're curving out, you're able to pay 2 to have Marker Light 2, which means that even just coupled with this unit, you'd be able to do 5 range damage to a card, just with this unit. So I imagine that Dark Strider as a legendary card is just going to be a great legendary for particularly maybe the more drone, kind of lower to the ground, maybe sort of aggro, sort of mid-range style, as it does. It rewards you for getting it in the late game with the Mark Light talent, with the ability to hide the drones, or you can just run it out early and pick something off with his sick gun that we can see part of here. So I think Dark Strider is definitely something to be excited about when we think about legendaries for the Tau Empire. And I think we'll just close it up there, folks. I'm excited. Hope you all are excited. This has been a great opportunity. Thanks again to EG and to all those for tuning in. And I can't wait to talk about these cards and get into it. So, as always, I will catch you next time.